Now, but for now, we've got Ryan from In4mation and Travis here, who is their merch photographer, brand photographer. Thank you guys for coming.
Thank
Really
you.
appreciate you guys being here on our Camera Club Hawaii. Camera Club Hawaii, we're here to educate local photographers about different genres of photography. And today I just want to talk to you guys, I think I mentioned, just how photography has influenced your brand and how the brand has grown since 2002 till now, and just how much of an influence photography has played in that, you know. And I know 2002 is when Instagram and social media kind of just started out, you know. But prior to that, Milani walking in the store saying what's up to everybody, and you physically have to go, touch, look. You couldn't look at your iPhone.
Right.
You couldn't go on. I don't know. Did you guys have a website from 2002?
I think we did. Very basic. Very, very basic. So I think from that time is like you said, social media was not even really starting around that time yet. Everything was print.
Mm-hmm.
So during that time, I think we didn't really even have any photographers. It was all skate photographers that we kind of knew. And it was just if you needed an ad, we're like, hey, dude, do you think you could shoot an ad for us? And we're like, cool. But that was it. I think only later on when the internet started evolving a little bit more, that's when we started to have a little bit more people to actually Keith would take pictures for us and just put it up online.
Okay.
And that's mostly product photography.
I see.
Not so much lifestyles, but if we did need lifestyles, then, yeah.
At what point in that journey did you guys realize, hey, you know, we need to make this pivot from just print and just to have content towards, hey, we need a staff photographer.
Right.
We need to start to brand ourselves like this. At what point from 2002 or with the trend of social media did you
Right.
realize you needed that?
I think once I really think once Instagram kind of started, Facebook and stuff, we wouldn't really post too much stuff. We would, but I think once Instagram really started, we could see the pivot and the shift to that. And I think it was still more lifestyle when we started, and then as it evolved, we definitely, you know, you can see now Instagram is probably our main focus of advertising. So with that being said, we need constant photos of either lifestyle and products, because that's how we're going to be conveying our story through that.
Nice.
Yeah.
And you know, we have Travis here. How did you guys connect? And you know, when you guys realized, hey, we need a staff photographer, we need photographers in general for content, how did you begin to look for your photographers?
You could hit that one.
Well, I actually got a DM from the shop's manager. So we've been friends for a long time. I've been a customer since Ward. Ward. So I was probably like
OG.
still baby, rocking the Velcro wall. Not that far back, but probably when I was in high school, like 2008. And then it just became a thing, I was like streetwear, street fashion. The baggy clothes fit my fat body better. But, like that. And then, I had some stuff. I did some stuff in Waikiki, and then they had the Aloha Army shop in the beach walk on the second floor. And so I'm very familiar with the brand. And, I really enjoy what they do. And, it was always like Stussy, Bape at the time, which it sucks now. But, so that was like, and everything now is the information, obviously. But yeah, so, I was like bugged her. I was like, hey, let me shoot some shit. And she's like, fuck, I'll let you know. And then she's just like, can you shoot flats? And I'm like, flats. Like, it's literally a DM. And I'm like, flats? I'm like, yeah, I'm a pretty good wedding photographer. So shooting stationary product that doesn't move, that have no emotion is probably like the simplest thing ever.
Right.
Boy, was I wrong. I mean,
what was the biggest challenge, or
so
learning curve?
I think honestly, replicating somebody's work is the hardest thing to do as an artist in general. I mean, whether it's like finger painting, grappling, portrait, whatever art, visual art, even dance, ballet, anything. Trying to replicate something to a T, it's pretty hard. Like, I mean, to get that authentic look, but still leave your DNA and trait and character within it, and to learn how to let all that go and just kind of have the product
with that, or focusing on what the brand wants,
was the hardest, and still is the hardest. I think thing that I have to kind of process when
being like a merch photographer, brand photographer.
Yeah.
And with that being said, how much creativity do you leave with the photographer versus staying true to what your creative director, or even just as the owners of the brand, how much creativity do you leave to the photographer?
Kind of have a lot, actually. I think depending on the project and the look that we want, we have different photographers for certain looks and feels that we want. Travis is like super sick because he can capture a large range of everything. Sometimes some photographers we work with, it only has one particular style, which is not bad or anything.
Yeah.
But Travis is super adaptive to where we can, hey, we want this look, you can shoot it this way. Oh, we need more of a studio shot, you can shoot it this way. So just having the flexibility and doing the, just being able to tackle whatever we kind of throw at him.
More of a jack of all trades.
Yeah.
But then it's still good to have those masters of one, but as a brand, as a brand, and as you guys look for photographers, for those who are, looking to dive into this, what would you suggest? Would you suggest be that jack of all trades, or would you that master of one?
I think it's a little bit of both. I think you got to have that open-mindedness to try other styles, but if you have that one particular style that you're super good at, stick with what you do, right? I think that's what's going to probably hook us to look at you first, because of that one particular style. It's like, wow, that style is super sick. We want this guy to shoot. So that's how we actually found some of our other photographers, just having a certain aesthetic and look that we were like, oh, this might fit this certain project. So let's kind of like use this guy.
And where are you looking? I mean, for Travis, you guys had like you mentioned, OG Ward, you guys already had a connection, but say, Travis started to blow up to international weddings and you need to find somebody. And where are you guys looking? Is it strictly Instagram? Is it word of mouth? Is it their web pages, or websites? What are you looking at to find photographers?
I think it's a combination of both. Definitely word of mouth. Being in the industry, having, I think, access to lifestyle photographers, skate, surf, that kind of gives you a little bit more diversity for everything. But mostly to look, it's probably on Instagram. It does help you, because somebody will say, oh, check out this guy, or this is my homie, check out this.
Straight to Instagram.
Yeah. And then it's basically a digital portfolio for that photographer.
But Travis, your Instagram profile, do you feel that you use that as a portfolio?
Honestly, it's a little touchy subject. So I made the mistake of putting all my eggs in one basket. And COVID taught me that you shouldn't do that. And, up until then, it was strictly weddings, and I shoot for one of the biggest Japanese vendors here. I'm still privileged to shoot it, of course. But then you realize that, once that plug is pulled, I mean, what are you going to do, right? So, that's a different topic and a subject for later, but my Instagram, my whole mentality is tomorrow's never promised, and I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. And I realize that, yes, branding is important, but if you look at my Instagram now, there's dog videos, there's random stuff that it just makes no sense. And then if you scroll down, it's like, oh, okay, so this guy used to shoot weddings. He probably doesn't anymore. Little do you fuckers know. But I mean, it's just like, it's like I'll post what I want to post now. And it's like, people tell me you should change make this your private Instagram now, and then have but to me it's just, I'm not really a big techie guy. I'm not a computer guy. To me, it's just a humbug thing to do. And
to curate and brand.
Right.
Okay.
I'm as straightforward as they come. So, I mean, if you look at my Instagram and you're kind of like, oh, I don't know, then you know what, and so be that. I could give a shit about what you feel. And it's just what I'm through my mood currently is what I'm gonna post, and what I feel like I'm gonna post, and it's just it's my little outing thing. So all you hecklers, wow. No. But back to the question you asked earlier. That I had to pull this thing up because it's still too little early. But they have the saying, "Jack of all trades, master of none." So like to somebody who can be versatile, I think it's a big aspect because like if I need somebody to shoot clean studio and learn the proper techniques of how to adequately light a subject, how to control the aperture and isolate things, and then you put that in, let's say, the real world outdoors, right? So you have people who shoot amazing street photography. Tony, right? He's master of that stuff. But it's like you kind of take the fundamentals and then you kind of tweak it with it, and then okay, we have street photography, and even shooting lifestyles for information for the street genre. It's like, I mean, don't hate me, but I feel like you have to become a shitty photographer.
No,
Like,
I mean, that's a good way to put it. That's a good way to put it. As raw as possible.
Yeah, to get that authenticity. It's
how do you let go as a street photographer? I mean, Tony, Tony is, it's different. I think he has very good technical skills that he knows how to control to get to a certain point. But when you think street photography, streetwear, looking at it as raw as possible, to be good at that, it's either, is it luck that you're just shooting, or are you good enough to let go of that skill set to be like, oh, I just shot this head. I knew what I was doing to get this raw look. I don't care about this hard flash, this hard shadow, but I got the shot. I think that's a super strong topic, and when we look at people's work, not to downplay what other people are doing, but when you think about photography skill sets, you have to ask yourself, do they know what they're doing, or are they just taking that point and shoot and just shooting?
Right.
So I think that's a super good super good conversation. And I mean, with everybody who is successful, to each their own. Again, it's not one is better than the other. You guys are doing it, and I think that's the super cool part about photography. It's art, it's subjective.
Right.
It's open to your it's open to everybody's creativity and interpretation of it. So not to downplay whatever anybody is doing, but yes, definitely, as a professional photographer, I think it is good to get a hold of those skill sets. When did you think you started to make that transition to a professional photographer? Like, I need to start to get my shit together and know what aperture, shutter speed, and ISO, what all that does. When did you make that turn?
Well, I'm a big spender, and I like to buy stupid things. That's let me just. I mean, not everybody. Not everybody has
6701.
Not everybody has.
Shouts out to
Understand
Tony.
the funding to just go out and buy whatever they do. And trust me, I don't either. But
Damn, Ryan pays you good.
when I want something, I'll get it. And I think you have people who just learn photography, take it as a course in high school, take it up in college, and they get a certificate of whatever that's flammable by all means. What do you do with it? I mean, honestly, what do you do with a piece of paper? I mean, jack shit, right? So
You put it on your wall.
yeah, I mean, dude, my wall is full of pictures of my dog and stuff. But like it's, I think having the adequate and appropriate and correct equipment is the key. I mean, everybody can be book smart. Everybody knows what 5 times 7 is. What's 5 times 7? So
35.
Right?
Had to take a little bit of time on
you know
that.
what I mean? But it's like, but can you really apply that to what you know? And it's like, like especially like learning a language, because to me, photography is a language in its own way. It's like a visual language because it's very expressive, and like you said, subjective. And for those that are bilingual, they know the challenges of trying to learn, a different language, and to be able to instinctively just flip it from English to Chinese to Korean to Japanese to whatever language you speak. It's something that you can't just learn. It's something that you have to practice and be, and have it become natural and make it intuitive. And I think for everybody who wants to get into it and wants to learn, but says, yeah, I took a course in high school, it should be easy. Oh, I'm a wedding photographer, I can shoot flats, should be easy. I mean, like for every different scenario, there's different applications. But having the adequate amount of gear, the correct lenses for the job, and then, what they don't teach you in school is settings of cameras.
Right.
Because now I'm not shooting at what we call ISO. Before it was ASA. It's like, well, what is ASA?
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know. Do you know ATM? No. But you know what I mean? Like it's like, oh, okay, so it's the speed of film, right? And it's like, okay, well, before when it was analog, okay, these are these, okay, but when I develop it, I'm going to push it, or I'm going to overexpose these images on film. The shady thing with film is you don't know if you're getting the exposure correct, focus correct.
Right.
And that's the fun part of it. Don't
Yeah.
get me wrong. That's the whole aspect of it. But when you come down to cameras like Blackmagic cameras that are meant for like cinematic style video, and then you have, but they shoot photos. Or here my XH2 shoots photo and video. But what is a HEVICTQRS setting? What is a 10-bit and a 14-bit? You don't learn that stuff.
Right.
And I think, this day and age, it's, unfortunately, it's, you need the gear because the way technology is,
It's moving so
fast
Yep.
that, having old gear now is just, honestly, it's inadequate for what these newer cameras can do. And, I think once you get all that together and you kind of apply your knowledge out in the street or in the real world, I think that's when you kind of become almost a master of your craft.
Right.
Until you lose interest. I mean, for me, it was I lose a lot of interest in so many things so quick, and it's
How do you find, or how do you keep interested in photography, in the art, in what you're shooting? I mean, I've shot weddings before. They're, at this point, and I'm sure you agree, at a certain point, everybody calls it stressful, everybody calls it hard, but it's the same thing over and over. Right. They're going to get ready, they're going to go walk down the aisle, they're going to get married, they're going to walk back down the aisle, and then we're going to have this big party. In between, we're going to shoot some formals. So it's fun, it's easy, it's repetitious. How do you keep your love for, or your interest in that in street? I know how you keep your interest and love in your dog. I got one too. Every time I buy a new camera, guess what's the first thing that I shoot? Right? Nobody wants to see dog pictures, but you know what? That's gonna be the first fucking thing I shoot with my camera because they're gonna listen. It's an easy subject and it's right there. But how do you keep your interest in what you're shooting?
So one, because this is my only source of income. Well, not really, but I mean, because it's my bread and butter.
Source,
right? Yeah. One of the legal source. But like photography, it's honestly a do or die for me. So I sometimes I don't want to shoot your wedding. Like I don't want to shoot this wedding today, and especially when it's assigned to me. And it's not like one of my customers, a local customer, somebody that I kind of reached out to or had a conversation, PR'd, and we did our own contract and everything. It's like, that I get to really pick and choose. But, when you work for like companies, like, I'm not going to name them, but, you're assigned this job for this day. And it's like, who the fuck assigned this time schedule? And that's when it becomes a chore. And, like, once anything becomes a chore, it really, really sucks. And then it just dries out really, really fast. I mean, but, I say that, I talk all this shit now, but, I really like people generally. So, I could have a 9-to-5 job. And yeah, you could tell me some exciting shit might happen. Like you might have like, I don't know, some celebrity come walk in. You know what I mean? It's like, hey, fuck, whatever. I just go on the internet and look at whatever, But it's like, to me, it's like having somebody and kind of being there and then kind of being like, I wouldn't say like a mentor in a way, but like a big brother, and then kind of like helping them narrate their days. To me, it's pretty fun. It's rewarding, as I think just personally to me to be there and say like, hey, I kind of help somebody, capture their big day.
It is, yeah. It's a huge thing.
With local weddings, especially, I mean, that shit's like second to none. Like that's always fun. I mean, you never know what's really going to happen, but you know, I think coming down with the team that you work with, it makes a big thing,
Yeah.
And especially customers. So, you know, I turn down customers that I don't want to do it. I turn down customers because it's too cheap. I don't do things because they're too cheap. I don't do things because I can't do them because I don't know how to do them. But you know, like having that and then supplemented with something like, okay, let's change the you know, the game. Let's go do some street photography, and it's like, or some product photography, some flats and stuff. So it's like it's a combination of both. And I think just getting away from this time, okay, we're gonna switch up from the side control attacks, yeah, and we're gonna go dark arts, and we're gonna go play with the heels. You know what I mean? So it's, you know, it's a good balance. It's an overall, I think, mentally and all around workout. So yes, it's a lot of work trying to maintain everything on schedule and stuff. But that really, I guess,
That combination
it helps
that word personal and what you still find fun keeps you sane, keeps you going every day.
Yeah.
And I think that's the benefit, you know, even for, you know, as a local business owner, not all of us get to say we're doing something that we're interested in. We're having fun doing it. We love the guys that we're working with, and we're still here. And, you know, I think if someone can find that, you know, I think that's the most rewarding as a business owner. And, you know, with that being said, why I envy the brand so much is I see the four of you guys, I see your crew, and anything that you guys start to get interested in, that you guys are passionate about. You guys have that fortunate luxury of creating and, you know, intertwining your brand with that, you know, just like you know, with your MMA, how you started to partner with certain brands, and now you're pushing that certain line. That's something I think is really, really fortunate, and I think that's super cool as a brand to be able to do that. But, you know, like for us, it's tricky. You guys can sell a product. You know, for us, even if we partner with somebody that's in the industry, you know, my hurdle is, okay, what are we going to push for ourselves? Are we going to push a picture? You can do this, you know, like people are offering the same thing, you know, even though somebody's offering the same or like a hat, you guys are offering your brand with the hat, you know. And you know, for us, it's like, okay, what are we offering when we partner with, you know, whether it's Pro Camera Hoy, whether it's like Fujifilm, Canon, like when we talk with these guys, what are we bringing to the table? Or even for me, like I love playing soccer. I always wanted to try, you know, find a way to incorporate soccer, the passion for it, with photography. I haven't figured that out yet, you know, but, you know, I always envy you guys for that, you know. And I'm like, I'm surprised you guys didn't come out with more dog stuff yet. You know what I mean? Like, working on it. Okay, yeah. Trust me, you already got.
I'm waiting for it.
Yeah. Let me tell you, I'm waiting for that too. I'm like, damn, I know all he did. You know, like, jeez. No, but yeah, I think that's super cool. And, you know, anybody, you know, watching this, looking to grow their brand as a photographer, what insight can you give them, you know, to be, as far as your passion, your love, and how did you grow that? How did you grow that into In4mation? And over time, you know, you guys are streetwear, you guys are skate, you guys appeal to surf, you guys appeal to just your everyday, and now we're hitting up, you know, that college student at UH. You know, like how do you guys come up with that? How do you guys keep on top of that?
Right. So just exactly like how you were, like how you said you had a passion for soccer and photography and everything. We grew up skateboarding, we grew up surfing, started training jiu-jitsu, so there's a little bit of that aspect coming into it. We've always liked clothes, streetwear, and fashion, music, and all of us grew up in that. Every one of us grew up in that, you know, certain segment, and that was our love. And I think when we go into a project or creating a line, we always just put what we want to see, kind of, or what kind of influence us, or what kind of cool things that we want to bring to life, and that kind of translate from our mindset to our clothes. For the UH stuff was a little bit different. Jun is a big sports fan. If you ask me, like, I don't know shit about sports. Like, if it doesn't have a board on it or any jiu-jitsu or MMA, I have no idea. But Jun's a huge sports fan. So attaching us with UH was something pretty cool. Then we had the opportunity to do. And same thing. It's like we see he knows the market. And definitely we wanted to kind of actually give UH a little bit of a different look than just putting our kind of twist and aesthetic to it. Because when we see other stuff out there, we're just like, wow, okay, this is just like your Walmart brand.
Right,
like, it could be so much more. So, we're just trying to make it kind of more youthful. So, and also transition to where, you can be the grappa at the game, rocking the jacket. You can be a younger college student. You can walk in the hat. You can be a kid that plays baseball, soccer, and then you can wear UH stuff. And, so trying to just kind of expand everything. Yeah.
Nice. The creative process for you folks, is it always the same as far as coming up with the concept, putting it on a storyboard, introducing it to your creatives, and executing it?
Yeah, so I guess, especially for the creative side, there's Keith and Todd. They really, really have a really good mindset of like putting really cool projects together. And just like we all have almost the same set of eyes, just a little bit different. But so when they put out something, it's like, okay, yeah, that's in line of what we all like to see. When we have to tell that story, I think we have an idea of how we want to create it. So we always have like you said, a storyboard. Certain things that we want to get shot, we have like a call sheet, and we provide like Travis and some of our photographers that. So like, this is kind of the look that we're going for. Can you kind of either duplicate it or kind of, so like every single project, depending what it is, some differ from the other. But if we really want to have a certain look, then we'll definitely give the photographer an idea of how they, we still give them the freedom to shoot how they want to shoot it, but still kind of like try to keep in this
lane.
Yeah.
What are I mean, I'm sure working with Travis is super easy, but in the past, I'm sure you've had to have some struggles in communicating that look to the photographer and them executing it.
I think
what is the biggest hurdle you as the brand, what is the biggest struggle you guys had communicating that?
I think, luckily we had really good partnerships with a lot of the photographers we have. So, like I said, it's either sometimes like a friend of a friend or recommendation. So even going into that scenario, like communication is pretty easy. Like, and I think it's like a two-way street too. It's like we kind of lay out what we expect from them right from the beginning,
from the get-go. Yeah, so that way moving forward,
it's transparent for both parties.
And what about you as we'll just call you, right? You're like their client. As far as being a client to a brand, whether it's In4mation or any other brand, any big hurdles you feel that you had to overcome in communication, in executing a certain product?
So I think I was fortunate enough to be a fan. Honestly, be a fan of the brand and kind of already have, to what I understood, my insight of what their image was as a brand. And I think that's very important. And if not, you can do your homework on if you're going to shoot another brand. Yeah, of course. But I think just having the love for the brand,
and what you're shooting.
I think it becomes a more of not so much what I'm getting paid to shoot,
more passive project,
right? And to me, that is like the biggest drive, because if you don't have that love for a passion project.
Hey, if that becomes a shirt or a hat,
passion project. But if you don't have that drive, you really have fucking nothing. Like, it's just like, hey, Ryan at In4mation, just to let you know that the flats for this collection are done. If you could send the invoice, it just becomes okay. It's business. Yeah, business is totally great. But what happens when they need something shot at the last minute, or they need something to be quickly edited because it wasn't okay? We kind of need to tweak something. It's like, how do you do that? Because that's not really professional, right? You know what I mean? And that's honestly, it's on the photographer themselves. Why'd you shoot like this? Can you fix this up? Can we redo this? Oh, I lost the data. Can we? You know what I mean? But having that passion, it's like, can you do this? Yeah, shoot, let's do it. So why not? I have free time. I have an hour. We can squeeze it in. You know what I mean? Like, But the hardest thing, and I'm gonna put an ad out, is models. Is finding not only is how I'm gonna shoot the shirt or the cap, but who am I gonna shoot it on? And yes, street photography does kind of have a certain look. High-end photography. I mean, sorry, it's not COVID, I promise. High-end, luxury brands have their certain look with models, and I think having somebody kind of being able to fit it is very important too.
Who's finding the models? I mean, with this relationship where, like with your brand, who's finding the models? Is it?
It's mostly the photographer.
Mostly the photographers.
And it is challenging. I know for all the photographers that we have, it's like, of course, you don't want to keep on using the same models too, but sometimes you have to I think that's a real challenge on a lot of photographers.
I'm an old man. I don't go clubbing anymore.
Scabby.
I don't want to be that dirty dude.
Hey, you want to take pictures?
But
anymore.
So I'm going to use your platform as a little. I'm going to steal some fame. But if anybody is interested in being a model to help build your portfolio or whatever it is, message, email information, and let them know. I seen that handsome bugger Travis, and females, whatever it doesn't, just anybody. I mean, the more I have and I can use and shoot, it's just I think it'll help produce better content.
With that said, it's quantity and quality. When you're looking for that particular model, is there anything that you're looking for in particular? I mean, like you said, street brand it's street. It needs to be that grandpa who's going to rock this at UH. It's going to be that student over here down to my 5-year-old walking around in preschool rocking the same thing. What are you looking for when you look for a model? Is it just somebody who? What? Yeah. What are you looking for?
I think it depends on the project too. Yeah. Like certain things that we put out kind of needs a certain model. Certain stuff doesn't. Just kind of more wide open. So it just ranges from like theme to theme.
Okay. But what I mean, not necessarily looks, but as far as how easy they are to work with, like
of course.
Have you ever had that dick versus this guy is super easy,
I shoot
you shoot bridezillas, so anybody else besides that is gravy.
Bridezillas, and I have manzillas, and I have godzillas, and I have whatever you are zillas, but I also shoot doctors. So I have a contract with some of the hospitals here.
Okay.
But that's. So when you're shooting with a stiffy, it's like you approach them differently, and I think you learn this kind of, I guess, photography lingo only through. I mean, don't quote me on it, but only through professional lifestyle photography, which is honestly weddings, because you have to deal with the bridezillas. You have to deal with the kids, families,
anything under
drunk,
the rainbow,
high,
exactly,
crazy, belligerent, emotional people all in one time, and you still have to be able to produce that images and the videos and criteria, and I think that's if you're not a people person, then this job isn't for you. But having that skill and going out to find a model, it's kind of more like, for me, yes, looks are important to an extent. But if you're going to be wearing a cap and you're going to be wearing a shirt, to me, that's 80% of your body covered. But, if I can work with you and we can communicate and you don't have the social media bias, like, well, I have 30,000 followers. Like, holy fuck.
You encountered those?
Oh, yeah.
And what do you do with
them? You
them?
get people like, oh, well, how much do you pay me? And it's like, okay, So it's like, okay, well, if that's the only thing on your mind, then... yeah. You know what I mean? But it's like, you got to kind of understand it's a give and take too. And people who just kind of want to do it for fun and be like, hey man, I have this sick drop coming out. You can't post these photos yet, but if you shoot it with us, you get some pretty dope shit. It's like, hey, bro, hold on, how does this go? Let's do
that's
it,
more
bro.
than enough. Yeah.
And it's like you get those people that want to be there, and that whole drive and the work ethic. It just becomes like, bro, let's just go walk around. Let's just shoot some shit. And it's like, and that's, to me, it's just fun.
Travis has the hard work. We just get the who's that hot girl that you shot? And I was like, I don't know
How'd
who
you
that
find
is.
her?
That's what
All the-
happened, bro.
Who shot? I don't know, dude. The photographer got him
So-
all the time.
Anybody, if you're interested, boom, let me know. Be more than happy to see what we can do and what we can shoot.
Nice,
Yeah.
nice, nice.
Help me out.
Help me.
I'm
help
not,
you.
I'm not young
I'm here.
anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, like I told you guys when you guys first got here, my main thing for this one was just to hear about the brand, the journey that social media has taken you, and the influence about photography on social media, on the brand, and how we ended up with this kick-ass photographer Travis and the relationship.
Yes.
I think definitely, like I said,
Putting it nicely.
yeah, definitely like how I said, like having that transition from print all the way to Instagram, like having a photographer that takes, or having multiple photographers to take pictures and everything is huge, because that's your brand presence. So it has to be shot the way that you want to portray your brand. And then before it wasn't not as important. Now it's very, very important. That's everything you see on Instagram or on social media. It's a reflection of the photographer. They're the ones that are bringing our ideas and our products to life. It's definitely a huge two-way street that they contribute a huge portion to our success.
I know we were talking earlier about COVID. COVID, everybody had to pivot. The struggles, we're all still here. We're all still here. We're talking about, how fortunate we are. There were some who are still feeling the effects that had to shut down. And fortunately for us, we found a way to make it. We're still here. During that pivot of having that having that in-store presence. You guys were in Ala Moana. That's the biggest shopping mall here in Hawaii. COVID hit. They said, give me my money or get out. And you guys found a way to, and you guys, unfortunately, it was a matter of, fuck you guys, I'm out. If you guys aren't going to help us, I'm out. And a lot of people had to do that. Having that storefront presence, and now we're like, okay, we need to focus on this website.
Right.
How did you guys make that pivot, and how influential was that merchandise photography that was coming in on that pivot? How influential was that?
That was pretty huge. So during COVID, after we shut off Ala Moana, luckily our online store was getting totally revamped even right before COVID.
Okay.
So timing was really lucky. But definitely transitioning everything to online was a blessing. Kind of showed us that we can have mostly everything online. But with that, we needed to have a consistent base of product shots, lifestyles. We had a pretty okay consistent schedule when we had Ala Moana, but knowing that we had to go online at that time, it's like we had to be a lot more consistent with photography on all of the products. So I think that even increased our eyes out for photographers that could help us during that time.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Travis, same kind of question. Like, after COVID, what big pivot did you make as a wedding photographer, as a brand photographer? Was there any pivot that you had to make?
Yeah, so like I said earlier about putting all your eggs in one basket. When it's going, it's great. I mean, yeah, it was great. I'm still not up to that level with that part of the weddings, but it was great while it lasted, and when it just sucked. And I'm always hard headed, and a lot of my peers and some of my coworkers, especially with the Japanese industry, got sent back to Japan or tried to stick it out, and ultimately it was, okay, visa, we're not going to renew it. Shoots, bust, sayonara. And it's sad to see people go on those terms. You know what I mean? But honestly, and then back to your question too, but perseverance, I feel, and I think being that Kalohe kid, being that hard, being that just that dumbass, like just so infested with photography. It's like, well,
Like you said,
I
it's
have
do or
over
die, yeah.
like, you know what I mean? Like, clearly, like, I don't want to put a number on it, but a lot of money in camera gear. And it's like, obviously I can't resell it because bodies is like dollar to nothing, right? And it's like you have all this glass, and it's like, what do I do with it? You know, it's like I like looking. It's like if you have a favorite figure or shoes or hats, it's like I know I don't
Put
need
it on that pedestal. You
but
look
you
at it
look
like
at
I
it,
got
and
that.
then when
Yeah.
you open up, you know, the vault, and it's like 500, got that. 300, got that. What, the 200 F2, got that too, bitch. You know what I mean?
Tony at Pro
It's-
Camera
it's-
loves you.
It's you know, it's like I don't want to give it up.
Right.
So to me, it's like I'm gonna fight until I'm literally homeless, before I give this thing up. And you know, a lot of my family is HPD, and then we have a family business too. And I didn't want to do that. It's not my thing. HPD was very tempting. And I was like, I don't want to be a cop. I shouldn't be a cop, and I won't be a cop. But I just like let's just stick it out, and the PPPs came in and they kind of fucked that whole thing up too. So I ended up getting like peanuts, but it was like whatever it had, and it's just like I'm not gonna stop. Trying to shoot something. Oh, you can't be at parks. Fuck you! I'm gonna go to a fucking park, dude. I'm paying fucking taxes for this. If you want to get political, with it, you know what I mean? Like I paid to use this shit. And they're not going to give me a rebate for the parks that you didn't go to.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm gonna, so it's like, if I get a ticket, then I'm gonna fight it. Whatever it is, what it is. But I'm gonna go out there. I'm just gonna shoot random stuff. And like I said, like the way I got reached out was through a DM through the GM there, and I was literally at my grandma's house at the time. I remember doing gardening work, and I was with my grandma. I was outside. I was smoking a cigarette, and the text came in, and I was like, oh. Okay, what's up, Ashley? And it's like, can you shoot flats? And I'm like flats, like, oh, fucking information is calling, bro. So it's like, it's
I made
weird.
it.
It's weird, It's like, it wasn't like, oh, I'm gonna be rich now or anything. But it was like, honestly, it gave me something to do, something I love, and something to do, and it was just like, kind of helped me get out of this shithole and change my perspective because I was going kind of little negative, and it's like help me change my perspective like 180. Like, finally, these fuckers reach out to me. You know what I mean? It's like, yes! It's like he hit that milestone.
Right,
and it's
right,
like
right.
now it's like, let's go. And it's like, in my big headed mind, flats is easy. It's easy. I mean it's not. Keith will attest to that. Fuck. If you can imagine a 6'3" Samoan guy, okay, holding a yardstick. But only the yardstick was reinforced by like carbon steel and had a whip tip. Okay, that was Keith, and it still is
Holy
Keith.
shit.
So it's like, you'd send stuff and say, "Ah, it looks good," but I didn't know any better at the time. Concerning I'm this big, wedding photographer. Ooh. It's like, hey, it looks good to me, right? But I didn't know. Like I said, replicating something, it's always the hardest to do, and letting that pride go and replicating was, I think, the hardest that I had to, kind of sit my ass back, and it's like. Let's find a way to kind of throw out the pride, and we'll put it in a little bit here, a little bit there, and and then it just happened to be like, okay, let's do it, and then I think work ethics, because shooting flats is redundant. I mean, I could show you the whole process, and for me to edit a T-shirt, it's like a whole one, let's say 2 adult shirts, 2 caps. And to women's T-shirt, not even kids, it takes me longer to do that than it does to me to edit a wedding.
Wow.
Honestly, it's a lot of Photoshop, and having the tools to shoot it, the rigs I use. It's like, but it's if I don't want to do it, I'm the kind of guy that wouldn't do it. But, it's giving me a different angle and perspective on different types of photography. So I am, fortunate to be here. Fortunate to be here too. So.
I think too, like that's one of the biggest thing is vibing out with your photographer. That's probably almost more important than the guy can shoot the most dopest pictures, but if you don't vibe out really well, like majority of every photographer that we use, it's a person that we can go out and hang out and get a beer after,
Right.
And you got to have that relationship has to be super cool. Like Travis comes out, just hangs out, talks to her. You know what I mean? Like you have to have that.
Like you said, it's passion project.
It's
that
a connection.
lifestyle.
Yeah.
It's, you're part of that. You're part of that community.
Yep.
Like you said, like at your grandma's house, you got that DM. You're like, holy shit!
Yeah,
I've been trying.
Let's go.
Let's go. Right. Let's do this. And and that's super dope. I hope that others out there can find that and get to that point. And I think a lot of everything that we just talked about is very influential to those people, and it kind of gives them a better perspective on where they need to be. It's not always having the biggest, baddest portfolio. If you're a dick, you're a dick.
Yeah,
If
yeah.
you're hard to work with,
Yeah.
nobody's going to want to work with you.
100%. And
You know?
we've gone down that road before
Yeah.
too, and it's tough. Like it's tough. Like you don't want to be a dick, but it's just like sometimes they're not the easiest person to work with.
Yeah. And you're on an island. That's the other thing too.
People
If
talk.
you're in Hawaii, yeah,
know?
we're on an island. If that's you, then damn, you better change something.
Yeah, I mean, it's not always good to be a big dick.
But
Sometimes you could be a
Be
dick,
one or have
be
one.
a small dick, But like that in general is, I think, perseverance, because I come from a sports background, and I coach some sports now, but I tell everybody that some people just have the eye. I mean, some people just have a talent for it, or they're just blessed with that talent, and that only lasts for so long. Skills and stuff are created through hard work. Oh yeah, but this guy, he can just get these things. And I'm not that guy. I was never blessed with any of this stuff, but it's like, yes, okay, you might be deceived, and I could never shoot that, or I could never afford that lens. You know what I mean? But it's perseverance. It's
It's
like
a mindset.
yeah,
It's
it's
definitely a
literally
mindset.
the way you approach a task and fight for it,
Yeah.
and just if you're interested, just work your ass off, and hard work doesn't go unrecognized, and be humble, but be arrogant and respect your own personal craft, because it is a form of art, and if you lose that part of yourself, you're in the wrong business. So
I think that's exactly what needs to be said, and that's exactly on point. And I think we can close up with that. I really appreciate you guys coming by again.
Thank you, man.
Super
Appreciate
fun. I'm super honored that I got a chance to talk about this brand in general. Like I said, I mean, like,
But
I was
we
doing
don't-
soccer practices in Mililani. I was dating a girl in Mililani, going soccer. Right before I go to soccer practice, I'm like, fuck that. I'm going to stop at In4mation, check out what they got. And every time I was like, why aren't they inviting me in the back where I can go fucking DJ or do something with it? I'm like, fuck, that looks fun. Nah, no, but super stoked that I got to
thank you.
sit down and talk with you. And this journey, like I said, not too much people can say that they can put their passion, their interest into their brand and have it be as successful as you folks. And that's
you.
super envious. Travis, I mean, like, same thing, man. You're rocking this brand since Ward. Like you said, when you got that call to be a part of it, I can't imagine how rewarding that was for you. And with that being said too, like, In4mation is in Japan. I know when that tsunami hit, you guys did that. You guys did that Aloha shirt. That was like
Aloha for
that was
Japan.
huge. Yeah, Aloha for Japan. How did you guys? I know that wasn't how you guys got into Japan. That's just like one aspect of it, but how did you guys end up being international? And for you, I mean, with that being said too, how does that make you feel that your work and stuff that you're shooting is on not just on a local level, mainland, or like a national level, but on an international level?
I think too, it's like, well, for the Aloha for Japan, luckily we have friends like Lanai, and we had a really good crew of people. We had Kyle from High Life, we had Jackie from so that Barefoot League, and then we had and Ola from Fitted. We had such a good collective of really good people, and then we just wanted to help. Everybody was really like-minded. We wanted to give something to Japan, and to Lanai kind of spearheaded everything and put us together, and to kind of work together and do something really positive for Japan. And
How much did you guys raise for with that?
holy crap, I want to say it was I think almost $1 million. I think, yeah. I know.
that's awesome.
It was a lot. It was a good and fun learning experience to see how what a group of people can do for something positive.
In
And that
such a
was
short
right-
time.
in such a short time.
Yeah.
And Lanai was just like, "Hey guys, I got this idea. Let's do this." And I was like, "Fuck, let's do it."
Yeah. The fundraiser was great, but did you guys have presence in Japan prior to that?
We did. So luckily when we started, we were one of the forefronts, I guess, in streetwear during that time. So luckily, we had a certain crew of brands at that same time that was being pushed. There was like Crooks and Castles, there was Understudies, Nike SB was big. So like we just had the right product, the right relationships that kind of slowly helped get us to more of an international base, and definitely having being in agenda helped a lot. We had people from like Colette in Europe. We had Japan, like distributors from Japan. We had our friend Ante that was in Sweden. So at one point where it was really big, yeah, we're international, and having the Japan presence and having the support of Japan. Of course, the customers over there and the supporters, they're so hardcore.
Right.
So that definitely helped us to kind of get our foot out there and then kind of spread the word out there.
How does that make you feel knowing that your work is on an international level? I mean, it's not just your friends here that are rocking it and see like, hey, yeah, Travis shot that. Look, he's shooting for information. But knowing that somebody in Japan is seeing your work and buying and loving that brand, that product because of your work.
Yeah, I mean, it makes me feel good. Proud. I mean, I was actually just in Japan shooting product. Ryan then flew me up there.
Nice.
And they're actually flying me to Seattle and got a couple more projects to shoot up there in a few days. So it's a great feeling to travel, have a vacation, but still, I don't want to say get work done, but shoot, product lifestyles that I want to shoot. Because let's be honest, if I don't want to do something, I'm not doing it. But it's just to kind of be like, get on an airplane, it's like rocking gear and having people be like, oh, that's a sick shirt. It's like, hey, it doesn't come out yet, don't worry about it.
Right.
but it's like, you know what I mean? It's just having that little feel, and it kind of makes you feel, like, wow, like this is, so this is what, it feels like to just kind of feel of how people feel when they kind of make it.
Being on that other side.
Yeah. Just even that 1% it's the feeling is, it's great.
But having Travis traveling a lot, that helps a lot. I mean, it's really cool to shoot in Hawaii, but like you said, like having a customer base that's a little bit outside of Hawaii as well, having Travis having the access for him to travel to Japan, to Seattle, to San Francisco, and take shots of our product in that setting makes it. That definitely helps a lot too.
Much more dynamic as a photographer.
Right.
Yeah. Sick. Well, let's try this again, man. Thank you guys for coming by. I think we can end on that note, and everything that we talked about today. I'm sure anybody looking at this who wants to get into streetwear photography, brand photography, I definitely all these tools. I really appreciate you guys sharing, and I look forward to seeing what's next, man. It's always fun. It's always fun to see, like, again, just seeing from skate, surf, lifestyle to MMA, and just seeing everybody's love and passion put into it. I think that's super cool. Just knowing that bunch of local guys, I think that's one of the most rewarding things that anybody can, as a local business owner, that we can say for each other. So congratulations. Thank you guys, man, and super stoked to see what's next.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Camera Club Hawaii, guys. Subscribe, like, all of the above.